Hey guys, how we doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap up. So straight over to the charts. So we'll start with the DMT and Dominator. You can see it's having a bit of a hard time in the market at the moment, as I guess many people maybe, because we've not really got a lot of direction. We're not really trending at the moment. So I guess range traders might be doing okay. But that's a dangerous form of trading, I think, in my opinion. You want to be trading like the breakouts and the moves, but yeah, we're not really getting many of those. We had the DMT trade here with the sell there, which did go into a bit of profit before it came back, and then we got the buy that did come into profit, and then we did have the sell that came to the profit setting. What was the setting set at? Let me just check. Oh, it's actually set as a 1.5% take profit. So these are still three 1.5% moves. But you can see here, we also, I mean, you can see this came offside though afterwards. But you can also see here, though, we had a little buy up here, and we're currently quite a bit lower than that too. So yeah, it's been difficult for the DMT. Dominator as well. It's been in a buy, but we've not really gone anywhere. It got a sell here. We came down a bit. Then obviously we had that wick up. And then a buy here that didn't work, and a sell here that did okay, and a buy here that did okay as well, but we obviously had this fake out move down as well. So yeah, it's just generally tough market trading conditions when we're just sort of doing this. There's no trending price action. There is a saying, the trend is your friend, and it's the easiest way to trade. And then when we don't really have a trend, it obviously does make life harder. We've obviously made good profits, and we had these move up here. But yeah, at the moment it's a bit difficult. So that's the DMT and Dominator. I mean, you can see with range and stop, we planted pretty much even in the middle of that range today. Literally not gone really anywhere. The bottom of this smaller time frame range been about 9,670, and the upper range been just under 9,800. But yeah, no real movement there. The very lower range is 9,600 to 9,900, so a $300 range there, but we're barely getting out of the middle zone. So yeah, just basically not a lot of volatility really. So this is the quiet before the storm. We are going to have some sort of volatility, I think. And yeah, over to the, did I just move something? Over to the actual our actual chart. So you can see we redrew this triangle this morning as a sort of potential ascending triangle. Obviously we're going to see how it plays out, because if we break out of here now, or around here, then it's not actually an ascending triangle. It's just a whatever the formation it is, just general price action. But obviously if we do come down, test around this area, and then gain support, then it will be a pretty convincing ascending triangle. But I would be optimistic that we can break up here now. We have got like a potential on the smaller time frame, got a bit of a pennant forming that we look quite mature in. So it does look to me like we will break one of these directions. So based on this, I would say a move below what is about, to be on the safe side, we'll call it 9,600, would probably trigger a move, I think, down to, well, it's not a big move, but this is not a larger time frame formation, but it would trigger a move down to the bottom end of this sort of resistance area here. And then similarly, if we break over about 9,800, just to give us a bit of room to run here, so we're not just faked out of this formation, 9,800, that'll pretty much take us to 10,000. The actual move, I believe the extension will take us up to about 10,000. So I believe we are going to have this move soon. I don't think we're necessarily going to, I think we are going to get a move either down to 9,500 area, or actually up to the 10,000 area when we break out this tightening formation. So there is a lot of energy getting built up in here, a lot of buying and selling going on in this small range. So yeah, I expect this to break out yeah, relatively soon actually. I would be surprised just to see it continuing along. If it does, obviously, like the bias, I would guess, would be towards the upside, just because that's the same direction of the move we last had there, and this is in some respects a sort of a textbook bull flag, where we then break back up again. So I mean that could be a pretty much like a pretty much obvious move there if it occurs. But yeah, so we're just waiting for a breakout of this formation. Really, we are right at the well, in the resistance zone. So maybe it does want to break up, but obviously it's having a bit of difficulty with that because clearly the path of least resistance is down here. And it has tried to break down a few times but keeps on getting bought back up. So I'm definitely leaning on the bullish side here. 4 hour Stokes are pretty high though, so they may need time to cool off, and I'm guessing the lower ones are all looking pretty similar. 1 hour, well actually we've got a bifurcation between the 1 hour and 2 hour. 1 hour's looking like it's going to come back up. This may give us impetus to a push up, but then 2 hour is, well, 2 hours not coming down yet. It could easily reverse here, so maybe that's what we've had. Maybe we've had a cooling of the 1 hour Stokes, and we can now have a push up. So that does actually, in that respect, does seem quite interesting. 4 hour Stokes start as far as you can say curling up. They're more curling up than down at the moment, you can see. So sorry, 12 hours. So that is positive too. That also leans me to the bullish side. Wow, this is not straight, is it? You can definitely tell there. Yeah, so 4 hour Stokes we can see is 12 hour Stokes we can see is starting to get some upwards bias. We'll call it that. We'll call it an upwards bias. And then also 1 day Stokes looking like they're maybe gonna turn their way up as well. Yeah, so maybe we are looking quite constructive here. Again, we are just consolidating at this resistance zone. So that is never bad, whilst we're not getting rejected for it, because like I said, the path of least resistance is down here. Like we broke above it here, we got back below, we hung around, and we didn't stay here that long before coming and testing the lower zone. So maybe we're going to come and test the upper zone, the next box, and then the upper resistance on this one. So but yeah, either way, I think we are going to break out of this smaller formation, which is then going to take us down to either here or up to here. And then if we break up there, then clearly 10.5k, and if we break down here, then yeah, then clearly we'll be heading for the bottom, at least to the bottom of the pennant, to try and grab some support down there. So yeah, and obviously failing that, we've got 8,600 as a level, and then if that goes, then it's basically yeah, we basically all the bots and algos will be switching to sell side then, and we'll be fighting a losing battle as far as the bulls are concerned, and we'll have to wait till we can find some sort of better support somewhere, and then somewhere in the zone hopefully, and then a retry at some highs. Yeah, not really much else to add other than that, to be honest. It has been a quiet day. You can see by this tightening formation. High volatility, I always say high volatility leads to low volatility leads to high volatility. So I would expect some volatility soon. Yeah, I'll be expecting some volatility soon. We'll just get rid of those. We'll leave this on for the time being. Get rid of the actual arrowheads because they're not arrows. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this potential bull flag. But either way, it's a symmetrical triangle. So see how we break out from that. Yeah, really nothing else to say other than also stock markets are giving me an upwards bias. They are on a tear, onwards and upwards, melting up in that Austrian school economic Ludwig von Mises crack up boom. That's basically what we've got going on. So let's get some Venezuelan hyperinflation in the stock markets. That's what we need. Get that wealth effect, as Janet Yellen calls it, the wealth effect, when the Fed actually admitted that it just increased the wealth of the wealthy, and then hopefully some of that trickles down to the rest of the poor people, the rest of the people that aren't in the 1%. Obviously they don't talk about the wealth effect anymore, and they don't talk about how Jerome Powell just denies that central bank policy increases wealth inequality, when central bank policy is the sole cause of wealth inequality. But anyway, so right, that's the end of that discussion. So thanks for listening, guys. Remember, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and we will have an update on the bot video coming up soon, so check out for that, and I'll speak to you guys soon.